Well, accreditation across the country continues, and it will wrap up at exactly noon. But by then, they just have an hour to come back at exactly 1 p.m. for actual voting. So far, reports reaching us, has that all the process in the 29 states as well as 36 states of the Federation where even the assemblies, the elections will be holding, are going on pretty fine. And we should also be speaking with Commissioner of Police in some of these states to tell us more on the security in such places. But for you, Captain Aliyu, this is one moment that everyone has been waiting for. And so far, to borrow from Cardinal Onoyeko, he's so excited and he's hoping that this will be maintained till the end of the process. How can we, because we're still thinking of maintenance of this particular peace that we are experiencing now, to, in times past, crises always emanate when we have collation period or when results are finally announced. How can we, transport this peace that we're experiencing now as accreditation is ongoing to that moment of election proper?
Yes, from the moment accreditation starts, security-wise, up to the moment results are collated, going on to announcement, you are going to see a phasing of security operations, and the likely problem areas are different depending on the phase you are in. And I am encouraged to see that the security operatives and the voters are working in sync. And by the time we marry this all up, we should be expecting to see a situation where there will be communication. Communication, as I've always said, is key. From security agencies, communication from the INEC across board. There has to be a seamless communication, media. And what that does is to build on the confidence levels they have already achieved, and to also remove what you said is absent, further anxiety. Where there is silence in these critical periods for an hour or two from any of the arms, you begin to see the other arms have pressure. Let me give you an example. If, like we had in the last presidential elections at the Collation Center in Abuja, where there was actually adjournment, if I want to believe, and they were supposed to come back at a point in time. There was an elongation of the adjournment, and nobody is managing that particular time lapse or that period when the adjournment has been elongated. Then troublemakers will start speculating. And because you don't have superior, communication coming in from those in the know, those who are not in the know will exploit that and start throwing all manner of things in for people to consume. So I see the processes dovetailing into each other smoothly, because one, I'm encouraged by what I'm hearing from Benue, from what I'm hearing from Kaduna, and also that is an indicator for the troublemakers in our midst to know that, look, the overwhelmingness of the resolve of 170 million people to do it right will drown whatever machinations you have in place to rout this home run.
Well, we're already seeing places where we will worry about, but we'll put that on hold now. To just ask Ima, how optimistic, is there anything that gives you concern from what you've seen so far, the reports that have been filed? Is there anywhere that you have concerns about this election?
I just want to believe that, especially in Rivers, that people, I'm hoping and I have this confidence that people there will also decide and resolve to do the right thing by saying, no, we can join other Nigerians to say enough of this violence. Because it's not the political gladiators that will die in the process, it's the ordinary Nigerians. And what are we dying for? Change out of our stolen wealth, So we can collect the change, and as we've been talking, and still not die for anybody. I'm so confident and hopeful because so many places, the card leaders that were a big challenge last time, is working. And And people are coming and getting, and I'm sure many of them are watching these channels this morning. They will go back to tell the others and say, this is what is happening in other states. There is no need to continue with this. And so we will, I'm confident that we'll have a good outing today, better than the previous one. And it will be a roadmap for us for what we are going to see in the future and get in future.
You know, what you've talked about, especially those in rivers, there are some messages that are coming in and reports coming in, unconfirmed reports yet of things happening in different local governments, in Kana, in Boni. We have pictures being sent in of Boni, INEC officials arriving in Boni and setting up that in Boni area. In Kana area, fake soldiers, military personnel were arrested, and all of that. It looks as if Rivers State is a hotspot, as the National Human Rights Commission sort of like predicted. Captain, what do you think should be the right action taken now?
Now,
as far as Rivers State is concerned.
Yes, now I must tell you this. The people of Rivers have absolute control over what responses they will get from security operatives across the rest of today. The security men are going to take a cue from what the populace is doing to bring about order and, fortitude. And I want to appeal to the majority of Rivers State people not to be cowed or led by the nose into acts of violence. Violence has no coloration. To the security operative, once you start branding weapons and machetes and all those things, all he has to do by his brief is to clean it up. So you can choose to do it peacefully. There are ways you can say no without fighting. What is this thing about fight that is so attractive to these people in Rivers? Where were they when we had challenges in the Northeast? Then we were looking for fighters. Today we are not looking for fighters. We are looking for voters. And they are fighting. I mean, it's like a bull in a china shop. You don't have to fight. There are ways to say no without fighting. So if you fight, and then those who are there to ensure you don't fight descend on you, don't come claiming your human rights was violated. Because before a policeman is going to train his equipments on you and tackle you, you must have carried on in a way that is suggestive that you are not for security and safety. Regardless on which side of the contenders you are fighting for. And the policeman will not come and tackle you if you elicited or if you exhibited body language that was akin to peace and friendliness. So when we hear that XYZ people happened to have gotten killed or became victims, it's not entirely all of them that are innocent civilians, as we say. Some of them are not innocent civilians. So I'm appealing to people. Elsewhere in Nigeria, people are hugging, they are shaking hands, they are gisting. What can't you do that way? We can say no while smiling and hugging and gisting. Must it be fight?
That's what people do not understand, because, I mean, Rivers State had already been marked as one of the flashpoint states. So it came as no surprise that, there was going to be, expectedly, if things do not go right, there could be people resorting to violence. But we understand that we have a correspondent on